Hey guys, my name is Wayne Didier. I'm the assistant winemaker here at Hedges Family Estate. And today I'm going to teach you guys how to make butter. So, a couple things you're going to need. It's a pretty simple process, and the recipe is kind of however much butter you want to make. So you're going to need some ice cold heavy whipping cream. You're going to need a pitcher of ice water. You're going to need a couple bowls, one to drain the liquid from the butter after you guys put it through the food processor. And there's going to be a couple steps along the way that I think will just be easier to describe as we go. So with that in mind, and also don't mind all the baking stuff in the background, we're making some sourdough right now to go with the butter. All you're going to need is a food processor. You can also use a blender or anything that's got some high-speed blending power. I'm going to go ahead, I have this already set up, take the ice cold cream, you're just going to pour it in. I'm making about, it's like 24 ounces worth of heavy cream. If you want less butter, you just use less cream. If you want more butter, you're going to use more cream. You're going to lose some weight and volume as you make the butter. So just keep that in mind. I'll show you the end amount so you get an idea of how much I was able to get from about 24 ounces. So ice cold cream in the food processor, go ahead and you're gonna turn it on, and it's just gonna go for about 8 to 10 minutes. There's gonna be a point where you're gonna see the heavy whipping cream is going to turn almost into just like a whipped cream. That's gonna be normal. You want it to keep going. It's gonna go from that stage to then where it's gonna kind of clump. And when it clumps, that's actually forming the butter. And then you're gonna see liquid shoot out from that. And that's gonna be the buttermilk, which I will explain something cool you can do with that at the end as well. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and start this and come back later. Okay guys, so we are only about a minute and a half into the actual whipping process, but we just wanted to stop real quick and show you kind of what I was talking about earlier. So you can kind of see that this is starting to already turn into whipped cream, which in case you guys didn't know, so as you're making butter, you're actually going through the process of making whipped cream. It tastes like whipped cream minus sugar. So from here, we're going to continue letting it go for probably another 3 to 4 minutes. Again, it's going to be dependent on how much cream you're actually utilizing and the speed you're going at. This food processor has one speed, so we're kind of at its mercy. But we're going to go ahead, put everything back on, and let it run, and we will show you the next part when the butter and the buttermilk actually start to separate. Alright guys, so we are on the final process now. So before what we did, right, we had the heavy whipping cream in there, we put it up where we got it going. We showed you the part where it kind of starts to look like whipped cream. And now we are at that final part. So kind of what I said earlier, where you're gonna see here, it starts to clump up again. So this is gonna be the actual butter. This here is gonna be the buttermilk. All right, so what you wanna do from this part is I got a bowl with a little strainer. All we're gonna do is we're just gonna separate that buttermilk from the butter. So all you're gonna do then is I like to give the butter itself start to form kind of a little ball with it, and just squeeze out a little bit of the buttermilk that I can from this part. You can kind of see that right there. Your hands are gonna get very dirty with butter fat, so just accept that that's part of the process. From here, I'm gonna grab another bowl, throw the butter that we have in there, and now it comes to the important part. You can kind of skip this final part if you just want to eat that butter real quick. This is totally good, safe butter to consume now. What I'm gonna do though is I'm going to what we call wash the butter, which is simply gonna allow it to pull more of that buttermilk out and make it a little bit more shelf stable so you can keep it in the fridge for a little bit longer. It should also be noted that you can freeze the butter with or without washing it. If you're gonna freeze it though, I would recommend washing it like you're gonna store it in the fridge as well. So from here, I'm just gonna flatten the the butter a little bit just to give it a little bit more surface area. And then we got a pitcher of ice cold water. And you're just gonna pour a little bit on the butter. And then you're just gonna kind of massage or knead it like you would bread dough. So I just go here. You can already see that that water is starting to kind of turn milky. That's just because the ice cold water is helping pull out more of that buttermilk from the butter. Really, the last thing you're gonna do is you're just gonna repeat this process over and over again until that water runs clear. So what I'll do is I'll drain that milky water and then just repeat the process until I get clear water. And we will show you guys the final result at the end. All right guys, so we're back. I just got done washing the butter. Again, the washing is just gonna help with preservation, pull a little bit more of that buttermilk out. So as you can see versus the first washing I showed you, how much more clear that water is. I probably did about 7 different washings where you pour the water on, knead it like I showed you, and then drain it off. I don't like to do a lot of dishes, so I just put it right back into that food processor bowl. And now we got clean, fresh homemade butter. So from here, guys, what I'm gonna do is I just like to real quick roll it just in some paper towel just to get any excess moisture from the outside. And then really all you're gonna do from here is you're going to kind of shape it or store it in whatever you want to do. So if you guys are gonna just keep it in the fridge and utilize it real quick, you know, you can form a butter stick by yourself, or you can store it in a bowl. We got some VIP guests coming for lunch today that is actually going to utilize this butter. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it in some small little serving dishes. So with that, I'm just going to take a spoon, take a good chunk, put it in there, and then I just take the back of the spoon and try to flatten it out to really fill the whole bowl. Doing that. One other thing I wanted to show you real quick before we show you the finished platter with Sarah's sourdough and butter is after we poured off the butter and strained it from the buttermilk, you're going to be left with this. So this is going to be pure buttermilk that you can use in baking or anything like that. So instead of just wasting it and throwing it away, if you guys want to keep that, you can. You can also culture this because this is technically, this wasn't raw heavy cream that we utilized. So you can go ahead and culture it. There's some recipes online. I won't go into it too much today, but you could use something like a kefir that has cultures in it, put a little bit of that in there and let it sit overnight. You can actually culture your buttermilk as well. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just finish getting these bowls all set for lunch today, and then we will show you the final presentation. Hey guys, so we are back now with the finished product. So if you remember our last step, we had washed the butter. Basically it was up to you whether you wanted to form it in sticks or put it in bowls to store it. So with our VIP lunch today, I'm just gonna do these little ramekin bowls. Just make it easier so we can place them around the table. So, again, I started with about 24 ounces of heavy cream. We got about, I don't know exactly the weight, but a good chunk of butter. So, again, for the measurements for the actual recipe, it's however much you want to use and however much butter you think you're gonna utilize. Again, like I said, you can freeze it. So if you wanna make a larger batch, keep some in the fridge for a week or so, and then put the rest in the freezer, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, so we got some homemade fresh butter. Sarah's sourdough is finally out of the oven as well. We got a couple warm slices right here chopped up. And then the way we love to eat it here at Hedges is nice and simple. Oh, that's what I was gonna tell you guys. So along with the cream, you can also add salt and have a salted butter. I don't normally add salt to the butter during the process. If you were going to though, before you or after you wash it, you would then want to fold in salt to have salted butter. What we like to do here instead is we have this flake salt. So this is just Malden flake salt. And so what we'll do is we'll take the butter, put a nice big layer of it on the toast, and then just sprinkle a little bit of flake salt on top. But you can add salt ahead of time into the butter and have salted butter. So yeah, I hope you guys learned a little something today, and you guys go and make some homemade butter and get to utilize it in different pastries and other